normality in our society is that people are disconnected from who they are. And the consumer culture and the culture of fame and the culture of momentary attention and the culture of people influencing each other in engaging in totally meaningless activities. That's our part of a culture of disconnection. And so that the reason so many people are suffering physical and mental illness, 70% of American adults are taking at least one medication. 70%. So on the one hand, we have this richest society in the history of the world. On the other hand, you have a large percentage of the population who got health issues of mind or body or both. It all comes from this disconnection from our nature. And so that's the biggest normality, quote unquote, of our culture. And so when Fromm says that just because a whole lot of people buy into something, that doesn't make it normal or sane, basically they have taken that and updated it to our present time. But I'm riffing on the themes that he raised all those years ago. Personality traits that a society would seek to inculcate in its members in order to keep itself going. I've sort of updated that. Now, in Huxley's Brave New World, people are literally gestated in a test tube, and they're biochemically and environmentally trained and developed to fulfill certain roles and to be happy with those roles. Now, we're not gestated in test tubes, and we're not mechanically programmed like that, but almost like we were. Because as Huxley points out in The Brave New World, the thing is to want to do what society expects you to do. So that what we end up wanting to do has got nothing to do with our own particular needs or true nature. It has to do with what the society expects of us. So these three traits. So we're not programmed like in Brave New World, but Huxley wrote that Brave New World not as some kind of a fantasy. He wrote it because this is where he saw society going. And it's only become more acute since he wrote that book in the 30s, I think. Yeah. And since Erich Fromm wrote and spoke in the mid 20th century. So these character traits of disconnection from ourselves, this society needs us to be disconnected from ourselves. Otherwise, we wouldn't elect the politicians that we elect. If we're connected to our gut feelings, there's a very interesting story about Ronald Reagan. Oliver Sacks, who was a British-American neurologist and writer, he wrote The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat and other very famous books. And he worked with neurologically challenged patients. And he describes an experience that he witnessed on a ward where there were patients who were aphasiac. That means they had a stroke, they lost their capacity for processing language. They're called aphasics. These aphasic patients, as a group, are watching Ronald Reagan, the president, on television, and most of them are laughing, and some of them are outraged. And Sachs asks himself, is it that they don't understand Reagan, or is it that they understand him all too well? And what it was is these people could not be mesmerized by the words because they didn't understand the words. They're reading his body language. And they read that he was a complete phony. And why was Reagan a phony? Because, not that he intended to be, but because he was a traumatized child